unique recap situation this week, since we had a missing member who then had their own makeup adventure. So we will do the usual. Go top down, then bottom to top. So let's get started with a recap.
Okay. So starting off last session, we were heading or continuing on to Eldrick's Woods to talk with Eldrick and see what he had ready for us, and maybe tried to get some information out of him to help with campaigning and whatnot for the big debate and the big election that was coming up. And we found that Egg had decided to leave in the middle of the night, leaving nothing but his bedroll and a note saying that he had something to do. And yeah, we kind of just decided, well, maybe we'll meet up again someday, and continued on without him because not much we could do about it besides, I guess, like go look for him. But we have some bigger fish to fry, as it were. So we go to Eldrick's Woods. We spoke with Eldrick and found Grills there. It was at this time that Udanar met Grills for the first time, and we had kind of a discussion of what was going on with the whole Spira plan a little bit, and found that Grills was a little beaten up, we'll say, like missing limbs and pretty scratched up and bruised and all that sort of good stuff. But he seemed in good spirits and gave us some information regarding various stuff that we asked him about that he would maybe know about, and asked him some things he wouldn't know about. Got a recommendation from him and a forged recommendation of Eldrick from him as well to bring back to help maybe sway the elders in our campaigning things that we needed to do. And yeah, decided to start heading back. Oh, we also got the information about oh my god, I can't remember her name. The ward for Treetop, and like the vial of what we need to awaken her from her ward state, essentially, to get some information and decide what we're going to do from there. We haven't really talked as a group as to what we're going to do yet, so I guess that's kind of something we need to keep in the back of our mind. But yeah, it was around this time that we decided to start going back to Treetop to start canvassing, campaigning, and do what we can to sway the vote in our favor, and in which we were attacked by two like mercenaries of some sort that apparently wanted to take me in or kill me or whatever. It's obvious a hit was put out on me. We dispatched them and continued on to Treetop, and I'll pass it off to Rumble from there.
Upon arriving in Treetop, we were immediately presented with his magnificence, Lautrec. And I don't think anyone in the group really cared for his like pompous attitude. But upon meeting him, he seemed enraptured with Madame Beldam, and then proceeded to invite her to dinner. Aside from that, we were provided accommodations, being part of the electoral campaign. Then after that, we decided to kind of gather ourselves, go clean up, and then split off and go take care of our respective duties prior to debate day coming up.
Not much to add there, except that we did get a letter or missive in a strange language off of the two mercenaries that tried to kill us / kill Udanar, and it referred to we think it referred to Lautrick as it referred to the prince and rigging the election, and it seems that the House of Scales has something to do with that, though we're not really sure what their goal is or who is behind everything, pulling the strings. And we're just gonna try and see what we can do about getting the madam elected and hopefully get into Lena, but we don't have a solid plan about that just yet. So
Okay. Homer.
All right. So, while everyone was sleeping, a follower came up to Egg and then very determinedly took off, basically wanting him to follow him. So Egg left a note and went off after follower. Follower ended up leading him to a camp with a bunch of tents where there was still an active fire. And after Egg thinking that should go around, eventually he realized that the camp itself was what follower was trying to point him to. He went inside one of the tents, started poking around, found some stuff, including like playing cards, just normal traveling stuff. There was a journal and a quill. But then there was in these leather pouches, there were these like basically animal trophies, clearly from a hunter. And one of them was clearly a scrap of leather from presumably a parent of follower. So that was clearly what follower was looking for there. Then as Egg went to leave the tent, the group came back, but now they were clearly zombies now. So he took the challenge from the lead one of them to fight them off and ended up fighting all the zombies. One of them was a hunter and the rest were clearly just like loggers. So they weren't too much trouble for him. And after he beat them, he took the bag of trophies with him, but clearly follower still had not found what he was looking for, was a little apprehensive and took off again. Then it started to rain and Egg got lost and would have really been out of luck without the compass that had been given to him before he left. So he made his way back south and then found himself standing on what had been revealed as a stone face in the ground. And as he looked at it to try and get basically to try to see if he recognized the face or to keep it in his mind for later, a bunch of spectral figures appeared, all bearing that same face. And he freaked out and couldn't move and flailed wildly until he killed them. Because he's still Egg, so he can hit things. And then as soon as he beat the two ghosts, he just dashed and ran away back after follower. Eventually follower led him to a waterfall where there was a humanoid figure standing in the like pool of water at the bottom of it on the water, and that was weird. But follower was clearly going over to the nearby there where there was a tunnel for a larger animal, and there was a dead animal of that species, based presumably another parent of followers, who was super dead and clearly had like part of their skull carved out where the scrap of leather from the trophy had been. So Egg didn't really know what to do, so he kind of just sat there. His follower kind of looked at him, hoping, not really understanding death fully. It seemed to be the case for follower. And Egg just hung out until eventually the figure walked over to Egg, and suddenly they were just staring face to face. And Egg was staring face to face with what was clearly an undead elf hunter. But so Egg just stood there and engaged in a staring contest for over an hour, and then eventually, like he tried to like pivot around eventually to see what the hunter was looking into the cave towards follower and the dead parent, and Egg wasn't sure what he was really interested in, so he just attacked it. After sizing him up and realizing he was not necessarily stronger than Egg, so. And as soon as he hit the thing, it basically instantly exploded and a wraith came out. So then Egg had to fight a wraith monster, and that was bad. There was a lot of ghosts clawing at Egg's soul on his little adventure, but eventually the hunter was also clearly a blighted figure. Signs of the blight. But he eventually felled it, got some stuff. He found 3 small scroll cases that has not opened yet. He will open those with the group. There's a thing to work. And also with the sack of trophies, there was like a checklist that is presumably about that he couldn't read. So that is another thing you'll have to go over with the group. And then he was pretty close to death after the wraith fight, so he just took a nap next to follower in the hole. And then they woke up and started heading back. They should meet up with the group when the group gets back.
Okay, so
Wow.
that's a happy little recap. Now, last session we had introduced something kind of new, but does anybody remember what we were doing? So we went from top down doing the recap, and then from bottom up. No?
Was it our expectations for the session?
Yes. So, starting with Hedalin.
I guess that starts with me. I expect that, hopefully the madam will be able to find out a little bit more about Loudtrick during her date, and that we'll probably have to pull some kind of shenanigans during the debate in order to split the vote to try and get the madam elected. And I expect that we'll probably have a little bit of trouble talking to the elders, but hopefully we'll get a couple of them on our side as well.
Okay, is that it?
Yep.
I feel like at some point, like one thing is going to happen and everything is going to go to shit. I'm not sure when it's going to be, but I feel like it's very likely we're going to make a bad choice somewhere because we've interpreted the situation incorrectly. I don't know. I still feel like Beldam is at risk by just being a candidate. So I feel like there may be an assassination plot brewing.
Yeah, so basic expectations, debate will happen, but Egg is still going to be stuck outside Treetop because of his fear of heights. He did want to talk to maybe he could talk to the captain of the guard again to gain some info at something or not. But by the end, they're just hoping to get a clearer view on, how the election is probably going to go, and sort of so to give us an idea of what we need to be thinking about going forward for getting the horn and talking to what's her name, and Lena, and sort of more info about Lotrick and whether if he's a dope or if he's someone to be feared or whatever. Just we're sort of in a need more information for how to proceed forward. This is sort of seems like something we're going to learn a lot.
Mm-hmm.
My expectation is that either for better or for worse, we are going to be finished with the political side of what's going on at Treetop this session. I don't think Beldam is going to win, but I also don't think that's going to become necessarily a problem for our goals in the end. And I think more importantly than anything, we need more information from whoever we can get it from. So my hope is that Lautrick will be able to spill something, or Beldam's going to be able to get something out of him during the dinner. I hope Egg is going to be able to get some good information from, oh my god, her name is Oriana. And I am thinking by the end of the session, we will either be on our way to or made enough headway that next session we can really focus on the whole talking to Lena and finding out that whole position.
Okay. So, I suppose we can get started. We left last session with the group cleaning themselves up. Madame Beldam was preparing for her date. And I believe Udinar and Petalin were intending to canvass the city and, I suppose, learn what they could about the upcoming debate and election. Now, I'll let you guys go ahead and decide which you'd like to do first, because they're kind of happening simultaneously.
Right.
And
So
we'll switch back and forth. But
we had
go
a
ahead.
discussion, and there's a bit of a change of plans.
Okay.
So prior to the dinner, because we have some time, we would like to take a short rest, specifically for
All right.
Udinar.
Here's a skinny, all right? Rumble is starting to get cold feet, and he wants me there as a bodyguard, and I have to prepare some stuff to make sure that if shit goes down, I can somehow help him, is the idea. He's a little worried he's gonna die. So, yeah, he wants me around him as like a bodyguard sort of presence.
Or chaperone.
Yes.
Or chaperone, sure. And
Okay.
basically, mechanically, what this means for me is I need a short rest to change out my prepared spells to more utilitarian stuff, and just so I can watch his back.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, what will Petalin be doing?
I would like to either send for that Herald guy to whose name I do not have written down. Oh, bother. But to potentially try to meet with the elders, or if he's not around, maybe I can go to the Central Heart Tree where we've met with them before and try to meet up with them and ask a few questions about the election and just kind of get some more information that we may need.
Okay. So I suppose after the long rest, it sounds like Petalin's goal is to find a way to meet with the elders, the surviving elders of Treetop. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Meanwhile, Madame
No,
Beldam.
meet alone, or try and schedule a meeting when we're all available.
Just kind of depends on what's available. Like if they'll meet with me in the morning, that would probably be ideal if you guys wanted to come along. Or if you'd rather that I go and speak to them alone while y'all are in the dinner, that's fine with me too. You know, because then we know that Lautrick can't interfere because he's going to be on a date.
True,
Right.
but if you go to the meeting and then your memories get wiped, we're back where we started.
Okay, so maybe we schedule it for the morning.
Now, is tomorrow the day of the debate, or is there one more day and then the debate's the next day?
I think
Go
I
ahead.
think it's the day after tomorrow, so there's one more day.
Okay.
That is correct. So you guys have tonight, tomorrow, and then it's debate time.
Okay,
And
so I'll
previous session, we did also ask one of the Silent Sons to have Oriana find us in the morning when she was
Mhm.
available.
So we're going to be meeting with Oriana in the morning. Do you want to try to
Mhm.
meet with the elders after that, like maybe mid-morning?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So, Madam Beldam, how are you going to prepare for this dinner with Lautrick?
Okay, so we did talk this through. I still have the fine clothing from our murder mystery adventure.
Mm-hmm.
So with the fine clothing, I know I'm going to be leaving quite a bit of my gear behind. I will still have my headband. I will have my cards, probably hidden away like somewhere on the inside of the dress. And then I would like to fashion something in order to keep a dagger on my thigh underneath the dress.
Okay.
And then on the other leg, I am actually going to take some of the wire that we had, wrap it around the cork of the Afridi bottle, and have the Afridi bottle attached to me, and then run the wire up the dress. So if things go terribly wrong, it can be pulled as a ripcord and open the Afridi bottle.
Do you have somebody in the group that has the skill to rig this up?
We didn't think that part through. Rumble's very paranoid about this meeting.
Oh, I understand that, and I'm all for the plan of booby trapping oneself, but there is, in order for this to work the way you want it to, it's going to take some skill.
I mean,
All right, who has what toolkits?
I can tell you right now, I will not be able to do this for you. Unless you want it to blow up or somehow. Maybe then.
You're going to need somebody who has some tailoring talent. You're going to need a farrier, and you're going to need probably some sort of capable, I don't know, like a tinkerer.
I don't think any of us really have that kind of skill.
We definitely do not. We could maybe see if there's somebody in town that does. I don't know how you explain that to
already
them.
knows somebody in town that's capable of a couple of these things.
The jeweler for sure would be our tinkerer.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I suppose for the dagger, I could just take like the belt from my normal clothing and use that to attach it to a leg. So that's nothing real fancy there.
Well, do you have a sheath for your dagger so it's not like stabbing you?
I mean, that's assumed. We're not going to get that technical. Okay, so you can avoid the farrier. Then you will definitely need a tailor to sew a pocket into your dress, to create your card pouch, because it's fine clothing, not traveler's clothing.
I technically have the book of A Guide to Needlepoint.
Okay, have you been reading it?
No, but I could follow along and make a pocket.
You can make a dexterity check at disadvantage.
Okay.
Is anybody else going to heal during the short rest? I see that Madame Beldam is the only one.
I'm going to. I'm just focusing on the skills right now.
Okay.
How dexterous overall do you feel?
Pretty dexterous.
I don't trust that. I'm going to make her roll a 20.
Hey,
Okay.
Look at me go.
So, describe to me the future in which the alternate timeline in which you create reality. Then
I'm going to find the timeline.
Does that supersede advantage disadvantage?
Because whatever role she's taking, I would be modifying that.
Okay. All right. I wasn't sure. That's why I asked. So then I want to see her roll it then, because this will also help you weave your tale
of how bad it might have been.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not horrendous.
No.
I'm gonna find the future where instead of the smut novel, Petalin was actually reading the tailoring book
Mhm.
and pull the experiences from there to her mind
Mm,
to sew this
okay.
pocket.
Fair enough. That's pretty good.
Oh, fuck. Okay, one more. There we go.
All right. So Petalin masterfully sews a pocket into the internal sleeve of Madame Beldam's fine clothing. Um, Whereas what may have otherwise been a very noticeable and lumpy jutting pocket, it is now um, almost indistinguishable from the other sleeve. So you can keep all of your cards in there. You are skipping the farrier by just using a belt and sheath. Rather clever. And now about that booby trap with the Afridi bottle. That was a pause for me. I'm waiting for you to explain
Yeah.
what the plan is.
Real
So we
quick,
could go
where's this
to-
recovery button?
It's just double clicking on the hit die at the bottom of the main tab.
Oh, okay, great. Thank you.
And those should automatically recover when we take a long rest. So I guess we'll go chat with the proprietor of the jewelry shop.
Does anybody remember her name?
I might have it.
I didn't write it down, and she went out of her way to stamp her name on all my jewelry.
So technically, you have it written down.
On all of your jewelry are the initials MF. Nobody? Nobody. Bueller?
I'm going through my notes here. Hang on.
We don't have all night for you to go through your notes.
I don't think I have it.
All right, so no inspiration for anybody, but it is Millennia Fiddleglitz. Anyhow, so who's going to Millennia's shop?
Udinar did have some business there,
Okay,
so I feel like he would have come along. I don't know if this is a full group effort.
that's what I'm asking. Who's going?
Where do we take our short rest?
I
our room,
presume in your rooms, yes.
Okay. I'm gonna ask Beldam to do whatever she does to make her dress look clean to my armor. Because I'm gonna wear my armor on top of my fine clothing. I'm not gonna bring a weapon though.
That's gonna
Alright.
look hilarious.
Hell yeah, it will.
You got some poofy sleeves sticking out from under whatever armor you're wearing, and your fluffy pantaloons, which bunched up underneath the greaves. Yeah, that'd be great.
Well, I guess I'm casting prestidigitation on his armor to make it sparkle,
Okay.
Dope.
and I'll use mending to get any dents out of it.
Does mending get dents out of metal?
I don't think so. I think it just
I also don't think so.
yeah, I think it just knits up any cuts.
Anyhow. So is everybody going then? Is that my understanding?
Yes.
All right. So the group tromps along Treetop in the evening here, or early dusk. And the thing that you'll notice first is that there is an electric air about the entire town. Just like there's a buzzing of conversation. There are like entertainers out. This is obviously some big to do. Like people even from like not even villages, but like nearby huts or townsteads or like farmsteads have come in to the area to witness the spectacle of an elder election. Clearly some sort of big deal, or either that or nothing exciting ever happens around here, and so they're just taking the excuse and opportunity. So with all of that in mind, as the group travels onward, there are several people that just like stop and gawk and stare, or a couple of them will even stop Lavinia and say, "Oh, what is your plan to win the to win the debate? How will you topple his magnificence?" And things of that nature. Whether or not you stop to answer them, or just kind of ignore them and brush them off is entirely up to you. But largely, what you'll see it boils down to is just fans and onlookers are about in various states of sobriety. There are several children actually that will just kind of like ignoring Lavinia entirely, stop in front of Udinar and stare up at him and ask him very pointedly, "What are you supposed to be?"
He just doesn't respond.
As he like walk through the children.
He's doing very much his best like tough bodyguard act of he's only there to take care of the important person.
Okay. As you gruffly push past the inquisitive children, you might notice that they follow along behind you, matching your like sturdy, stout pace, and like keeping their chins high up in the air. And then they start giggling to themselves, and you hear them say, "What a freak!" and they dance off into the night. Eventually, you arrive at the workshop of Millennia Fiddleglitz, only to find that the lights are off. What do you do?
Knock on the door. Also, that performance check was people that did stop and talk to me. I would give them the most like politician non-answer to their questions.
I see.
Where they just kind of leave a little more confused than the way they came in, but they think they got a satisfying answer.
Sure, I got you. I think you would have done a pretty good job of providing a truly political spin to any questions that might have been asked of you.
So yes, I will knock on the door.
Okay. You feel through your knocks that the door is firmly bolted shut. It appears that nobody is around, at least for now.
I'll ask Udinar to knock louder with his big armored hand.
Yeah, I do so.
Okay. You definitely feel, again, that the door is bolted and firmly shut. Maybe a perception check. And all three of you can make it.
Okay.
Udinar notices what appears to be some tiny glowing handwriting near one of the glass windows that is built into the treetop shop. Upon peering closer, however, it appears that you cannot read it.
I pointed out to the group.
Can any of us read it?
As everybody takes a look at it, it just appears to be gibberish.
Huh. Do we have the helmet?
It's probably in the pit. And we're kind of out in the open.
Well, she's probably closed down for the evening. Is joining in the revelry and the excitement.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so we'll ditch that plan, I guess. I will, however, hand Udinar the Afridi bottle.
Okay.
Have him keep it on his person, stowed away somewhere as a failsafe if shit's like going real bad.
I very carefully and with a sense of like, oh Jesus, just like put it away in my pouch.
Mm-hmm. And I'll explain how to use it to pull the cork, and then you give the Afridi a command, and it will follow that command.
Okay.
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 So, with that in mind, uh, perhaps the group would take a moment to realize that at early dusk, a lot of the shops would certainly be closed to engage in revelry, as Pedalin had observed.
Sure.
So this area of town, even in general, is just largely deserted. Is the plan then to go ahead and head to your prospective locations for the evening?
Yes.
Okay. So,
I
Madame
do
Beldam,
have measures. So
I don't. Go ahead.
on our way there, like before we actually get there, and I would have done this in the room. In the pit, we had a silver locket that we found in a poo pit that has a goblin maiden portrait inside of it. I will cast Tiny Servant on that locket,
Okay.
and then like as we get to location, I will cast invisibility on the Tiny Servant.
Okay. Are you trying to be inconspicuous?
I'm not gonna be doing it like in the middle of the street.
Well,
Just like
so to give you an idea, kind of how Treetop is laid out.
Oh, neat.
Something like that. So it's not really like there's a street. Most pathways between the various trees and buildings are narrow, and so as they're busy now, you're squeezing past people. Now around a lot of the trees, and it's not really illustrated here, is like there will be a 5-foot walkway that goes around the outside, but largely in between buildings is a crammed, tight area. You have to remember, this was never intended to be a town or a city. This was always a village that has simply outgrown itself.
Right.
So, in terms of not doing things in the street, well, you don't have a lot of option. You can go and do these things subtly inside somewhere, or can do them outside.
I think it would be best to do them kind of maybe slip into a shop or something like that, or since all the shops are closed, just like as inconspicuously as possible.
Mm-hmm.
I guess we'll go buy a building, and when there are like the fewest people around, I will hide away behind Udinar.
Yeah. I'll
Like
kind of
this
try to
massive
puff myself
form.
out a bit. Yeah.
Okay. And so you have an invisible locket servant then.
Yes.
Okay. Anything else? And what purpose will it, I suppose you'll tell me when it's time.
Yep.
So Noodles and Madame Beldam are going to go ahead and head into the tavern proper, where they know that they will be meeting with Lautric for the date. What is Pedalin doing?
Well, I suppose I could go back out to where there's the most people and see if I can find out where the herald is or the elders are and try to talk to them to set
Okay.
up the meeting.
Sure. So the general response you're going to get to any similar line of questioning to, like, where can I find the herald, or where can I find the elders, is people are going to look at you in like almost a drunken haze and be like, what are you talking about? The herald is going to be out and about town, listening to the words of the people and gathering responses in preparation of the election. And oh, don't you know, the elders always cloister themselves before an election. It's for safety's sake.
Okay, well, I guess since they are cloistered, could I just like generally ask why they like what they have to fear? Like if it's for safety's sake, are the elders afraid for themselves? Like are they in danger that they are aware of? Like why do they feel like they need to be sequestered?
You sure ask a lot of questions, lady. What? What do you mean, the elders? Are you trying to kill somebody?
Only trying to kill my thirst. Where can I find an ale?
This is the tavern. And he points to the only tavern of Treetop. Unless you are come by my private residence. You see, I've been making a cider for many years. Knock your socks off.
That sounds great. I'd love
Okay,
to.
follow me. So he's gonna start stumbling his way towards the residences of Treetop, as it were. Which I mean, a lot of them are just scattered around randomly. It is, they're kind of beholden to the way that the trees grow. But there is a larger subset of smaller homes towards one of the edges of the village proper, and that's kind of where he seems to be heading off to.
Okay. I guess I'll follow. I'll just
Okay.
keep an eye out for the herald as I go.
Okay. Roll a perception check. Through the throng of crowd, unfortunately, you never spot the gentleman you're looking for. But it's not too long before you reach a small, humble little carved out abode, perhaps just large enough for 2 or 3 people to step inside. However, as the drunken gentleman stumbles his way up the step ladder and throws the door open, you are nearly bowled over the ledge by the sound of raucous laughter and just like there's some off-tune music being played within, and you aren't entirely sure, but it looks like there's like 6 people crammed inside this dude's house.
Oh, I'm a little nervous now. I don't
Do
know
you
that I
follow?
can. Sure, why not?
All right. So you step inside somehow and find that this guy has clearly taken some time to do some home renovation, as he has carved out the ceiling and floor to make basically a vertical home. So like there's a ladder in the center where you can go up or down, and everything else inside is just like on these various shelves and levels. Like there are people with their feet dangling down, like basically in your face. Everybody's drinking. There is somehow a game of cards being played across 3 different levels. And this guy, he gestures for you to follow him down below. And as he descends the ladder, you see he's got this really intricate and like overly complicated system rigged where he's like directly drawing the sap from within the tree that he's in, and the fruits are also fermenting in this big old bowl basin at the bottom, and so he's creating this really sticky sweet, and you can like the smell of fermentation is enough to burn your nostrils, but definitely some sort of alcoholic beverage. And he grabs a wooden mug off the wall, dips it in, and hands it up to you as best he can.
I'll take it.
Okay.
And I'll make a toast to Madam Beldam, and then I'll take a
Okay.
sip.
So make a persuasion check to see how effective your toast is. You do manage to sing some inspiring words for Madame Beldam and her candidacy as an elder, and why she should be picked. And as you clank or thud your wooden mug against the wall, everybody else lets out a simultaneous cheer, and there's even a few people that echo your sentiments for the madam, or for Madame Beldam. And everybody takes a drink, and as you do so, make a Constitution saving throw as the most tart, bitter, like punch in the mouth in liquid form you have ever experienced just assaults you. All right. Udanor and Lavinia.
I'm gonna go ahead and add, since it's a saving throw, I can add 2d4
Uh-huh.
as part of my favorite of the gods. So it's actually a
17.
17.
All right. So you feel yourself beginning to stumble and fall backwards, and likely would have fallen into the vat itself, if not for this otherworldly steadying hand, almost like when a parent reaches down and places their hand on the shoulder of a child to keep them from falling over, a crack or a ledge or something along those lines. You feel that just like this cool, forgive the oxymoron, but like a cool warmth. That just kind of flows through you, and you're just like a bit more steady than you were, but you can immediately feel the effects of the alcohol. And while the taste is a punch in the mouth, it's incredibly pleasant and invites you to drink further. Otherwise, you quickly find yourself involved with the revelry of the peoples within, and I will come back to you. But Udanar and Lavinia, as you enter the Treetop Tavern, you will find it too is alive with action and revelry and mirth. The people seem to be having a good time. Everybody is, eating, drinking, or otherwise being merry. And as you enter, there is a small cheer as the group recognizes two of the heroes of Treetop and the saviors of Eldrick's Woods, and of course, a few shouts for Lavinia, a few shouts for the heroes. But for the most part, everybody just seems to be looking to have a good time. As you step in, obviously, the bar full of patrons. What do you do next, knowing only that you were supposed to meet Lautric here, but not entirely sure where?
So the first thing I do is I'm casing the joint. So I'm going to roll this. And I am looking for anything that looks out of sorts, specifically in the rafters, in the shadows, anything like that.
I mean, to you, it looks like a bunch of people having a really good time. A lot of drunk people. A few people already passed out. A few people copping feels. Definitely some pockets probably being picked. That to the unaware patron, just who may find themselves several coins lighter in the morning. But for the most part, it looks like genuine festivity going on. There are. I mean, just outside, there were a couple of well-armed and armored gentlemen that seemed to be eyeballing you as you entered the tavern itself. But largely, on your way in, otherwise, that was it. There's a full table of shirtless dwarves over off in one corner, all just like arm wrestling one another, somehow in like this tangled spider mass of sweaty, unclothed dwarf arm. Their smell, reeks within the tavern, even from the door. There is a large gambling pit off to your left, where several people, mostly human, are tossing dice and bones and other coins into the pit. You don't really fully understand the game, but every once in a while somebody cheers and jumps into the pit to grab up some coins. There are a few people sitting at the bar being served, but all of the serving wenches or serving staff are just kind of going around trying their best to attend to what is, to them, likely the largest crowd they will see in some time.
Okay. Is Lautric here yet, or his party?
You don't see anybody that looks like Lautric or looks like they would belong to, Lautric's retinue.
Is there any table setting or any like part of the tavern that looks like it's very obviously reserved for this dinner?
No, of all the tables that you see when you come in, they are all occupied, but that's just the main room of the tavern itself.
So I'm going to just bend down to Lavinia's ear and tell her, looks clear so far.
So as we enter, and everyone like looks over and does their cheers and whatnot, I'm gonna use prestidigitation to make like a nice, good smelling breeze come through the tavern, like as we are entering.
Mm-hmm.
Just some mind games.
What kind of good smells?
Just like the sweet smell of summer.
Okay.
To something refreshing as opposed to dwarf odor.
Yeah. Okay. Give me one moment here. Aha. Okay, that's awesome. How do I change this though? I'm trying to figure out how to change a token. But I'm not seeing easy way to do that.
It's beyond my pay grade.
Yeah, I would like to fix it. Sorry, this is something that I was trying to fuss with earlier but couldn't figure out. And I was like, oh, it'll be fine. Hey, I did it. Okay, I'm the best. Actually, that works incredibly well. So do this.
I shouldn't be able to see anything, should I? Because I don't.
No.
Okay.
No. Where did this go? Okay. Tokens. Oh man, it won't tell me what token something is once I've already selected it. But I figured it out anyway because I'm the best. Oh, it's really easy to change tokens, actually. You don't even have to unlock things. Okay. That can close that, can do this. All right, so sorry if you guys had told me what you were doing next, that it has completely slipped out of my brain. But basically, no, there's no table settings. There's nothing like that. Lavinia makes some sweet smells as you enter the room, and that's the last thing I have.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so then what next?
I suppose we'll push our way through to the barkeep.
Okay. All right, so you head up to the bar, which again is only occupied by a few people, and find yourselves, face to face with what looks like a rather poorly statist female of some sort. Like her clothing is dirty. She's basically wearing a burlap sack, and she, kind of keeps cutting her eyes over at you while she furiously rubs at mugs and dishes trying to clean them. Not entirely sure if she is the barkeep or not, but she is the one that is closest to you and standing in front of you, and the only one that you can see at the moment behind the bar.
A moment of your time, if I may.
She squeaks as she is spoken to and quickly scurries over to a door off to your left or her right, and raps on it 3 times. Upon doing so, a much more graceful woman steps through, wipes some blood off of an apron, or what looks to be blood anyhow, and steps forward to the bar before offering a very slight bow and saying, what can I get for you tonight? Do you need a room, or will you simply be joining us at the bar?
We're actually meant to meet with Lautrec for dinner. However, he failed to mention where exactly. We were wondering if you had prepared any accommodations for his party.
He's like, oh, Madam Beldam, I should have known. Forgive me, I didn't recognize you outside of your traveling garb. I must apologize as we were only expecting you. It seems that you have brought another guest.
It's quite all right. He won't be eating. He's just here to watch over me.
Well, that's certainly fair, but Lautrec has requested that just you join him privately this evening.
I look over to Beldam and just say, I'll wait by the door.
If you're all right with that.
Expecting her. Yeah, I was going to say expecting a response from her.
I'm sure it'll be fine.
You're not there.
Well, it's a good thing I said it out of character.
Observer bias.
Womp womp.
Well, I suppose that can be done, but I'd prefer to keep him close.
She's like, that's fine. He just won't be able to join you in the room. If you would please follow me. And so she gestures for you to come back behind the bar. You can see that there are a couple of doors behind her. Clearly, she intends for you to go through one of them. Yes, no?
Yeah, I mean...
Sorry. Well, I don't want to make the assumption in case there's something else that you want to do.
Not at the moment.
Okay. So, the pair of you follow her behind the bar to the door. There is a narrow hallway wherein you pass a few more doors. There appear to be 2 more of the armed and armored gentlemen standing at the end of the hall, near another door in the corner, very similar to the 2 that were at the front. Now, if you will give me perception checks, please.
Mm-hmm. Perception.
Madam Beldam, they look to be a little bit more than your average mercenary guard. Their weapons and armor are taken care of rather than just bent and beaten. Udanar, you recognize that these gentlemen do not carry themselves like mercenaries at all, based off of your experience with them. They are on guard, they are on edge, and they are alert. As you approach them, however, they move to either side of the door to accommodate your passing, and kind of give you a nod of recognition.
I'll just give a stern nod back.
Okay. So, there, you should. Yes, everybody can see.
Yep.
All right. So, the bartender or barkeep is going to leave you in the hallway. The 2 gentlemen, armed and armored, are going to step to either side of the door ahead of you and motion for Madame Beldam, who is spinning my miniatures. And they will crack the door for Lavinia to step inside. Do you do so?
I will go ahead and step in.
All right. You step inside and find your table magnificently set and seated across from you, dressed in fine reds and gold regalia, the candlelight flickering off the scales on his skin, matching the crimson of his clothing, is his magnificence, truly living up to the title, just positively sparkling, heavily made up, dressed in his finest, and the table already set with a dazzling display of meats, fruits, cheeses, and various drinks. There is like a fine vapor rising from a chilled glass of something sitting in the center of the table, and he quickly rises to his feet and motions for you to take the chair nearest him.
I'll give him a slight bow and go ahead and take a seat.
He seems taken aback by your lack of formality, but kind of quickly shrugs it off and pulls out the chair for you to take a seat next to him. And as you do so, he comments on your choice of eye covering and says, "Truly, today is the day that the bard's song rings true. Love is blind." Udinar, you just catch a very hint of that line as the door is closed by the gentleman in the hallway, and they quickly return to leaning up against, the respective walls posted up near the door.
Is there space on a wall near the door that I can also kind of post up?
You can kind of there's, unfortunately, it's two doors in the corner, so they're kind of taking up the spots closest to the door. But I suppose theoretically, well, you're huge though, so I don't know that you could really share space with them.
Right.
Just uncomfortably squeeze in between them, and
yeah, I mean, if you, I'm not going to stop you, so.
I mean, I think the idea I had in my head is that, like, basically we were walking pretty close, then she went through the door, and I just stopped completely the minute she, like, passed the doorway. Almost like a dog or something, and just stopped.
They would have moved out of the way to accommodate her, but,
Okay.
like, not necessarily barring you, but definitely not moving out of your way. So, like, they would have soft stopped you here, and you can force your way past.
I would do so.
Okay, so then one of them, like, big body machismo, kind of stands there while you put your arm up, like, basically against his chest and shoulder past him. He doesn't really offer you any resistance other than, like, the "I'm a big strong man" kind.
Sure.
But they both look at you, and you can see that they kind of absent-mindedly fiddle with the tops of the axes in their belts. They don't make any aggressive motions, just
Yeah, I don't
actually,
want mine to be aggressive either.
give me another perception check.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, like other than what they're already wearing, like they're decked out in obviously very clean, polished, well-maintained, well-used weaponry. They're not fronting, and they're certainly not being aggressive. They're just kind of making it be known that they aren't to be taken lightly.
Sure. And I respectfully kind of return that, like, aura as I do so as well.
Sure. Okay. Then we'll take a real quick step back to Petal Inn, who has likely been engaging in a fair bit of mirth in the time that it took you guys to get here, enjoying her very potent tart cider, and the host has completely drunk himself into an incoherent stupor. But you are in the presence of what appear to be well-politicked individuals. All of the conversation in the room is abuzz about the debate and the election, and it isn't just swooning or crooning or like fawning over either of the candidates. They're actually discussing the merits of the election itself and what would be best for the future of Treetop.
What what are they saying as far as the merit of Lautrick versus the madam?
Are you just kind of listening, or are
I'm
you kind of
just gonna
engaging?
kind of listen first.
Sure. So the casual conversation seems to be that Lautrick brings in wealth. He has already and can continue to help Treetop grow and perhaps establish itself as a regional township as opposed to just a large village. They're talking about the fact that he is well storied, well read. There's a list of accomplishments that follows his name, and if they're to be believed, then he is clearly a competent and capable adventurer of sorts. They feel that he would bring a life to the Elder Council that has been missing for some time, in that most of the elders just prefer to stay cooped up in the heart tree, whereas in the past, elders were known to actually go out and venture beyond the relative safety to, basically make the same concessions that regular adventurers do, or that those who protect Treetop do, and kind of put themselves at risk and make a face for, make a show for the city as well. So they aren't just these faceless entities. Whereas Madame Beldam has, clearly and somewhat selflessly, at least as far as their perception goes, assisted the city most recently. The group that she's involved with has gone through great effort to basically save the town from certain doom. There are rumors that she could even potentially mend the relationship between Eldrick, the druids, and Treetop proper. They believe that Lavinia's magic, as it were, and that the magic of her companions, this so much of it in such a small package, would certainly perhaps alleviate even further their burden of relying on silent suns and pixies, which you can tell just kind of make the general populace uncomfortable. They almost have this Elysium vibe going on, where because they live above ground and don't really interact with them, they see them as like these abominations, and they're tired of sacrificing their children just to keep the village safe.
Okay. Um, I want to start just kind of slowly insinuating myself into the conversation. I don't want to bust in and be rude, but maybe just sit down with them and start nodding and going and just kind of so that I'm part of the conversation, and it would be natural for me to comment in the future.
Okay, so give me your flavor of diplomacy here. Do you want to deceive your way in, persuade your way in, or
Um,
intimidate your way into these conversations?
I'll try to persuade.
Okay. You find that you do manage to, laugh at the right moments, nod at the time where it seems appropriate to nod, shake your head, and you aren't really doing anybody any favors, either candidate, but you're certainly not detracting from anybody's cause by entering into the conversation the way that you do. Um, you find it odd that nobody seems to have commented on the fact that you are a member of Lavinia's traveling group. You are one of the saviors of Treetop, yet it hasn't been called out. Give me a perception check, or actually, give me an insight check. Um, yeah, just for whatever reason, this group of villagers seem very well learned and completely unfazed by the fact that they are openly discussing things with somebody that could be considered a major political entity. They seem largely just unaffected with who you are supposed to represent.
I'm not sure what to ask them. I think when it would seem appropriate, is there a way for me to um just start making little persuasive comments that might lead them to be more on the side of the madam?
Well, now that you've insinuated yourself into the conversation, you kind of established yourself as a participant and not just an onlooker or listener, sure. You can go ahead and give me one for now, one persuasion check.
Okay. Golly.
Unfortunately, you make a couple of social blunders, like you interrupt somebody, you jump to a conclusion, or you make an assumption about something that somebody was going to say before they say it and cut them off, and it just there's a bit of a sour note to your conversive skill for the moment. And with that, we will move back over to Madame Beldam and Udanar, who are now mere minutes into what may turn out to be a long evening as Lautrec continues to rattle off just like almost a prepared script of compliments and one-liners and just praise for Madame Beldam.
Surely you flatter me, Sir Abishai.
He stops for a moment and has this like almost I don't even know the adjective to describe it, but like a malevolent grin, like you've said something wrong, and he says, "Actually, it's His Magnificence, or and don't tell anybody this, but it's Prince. But sir, I am not. Lord, I will even accept, but please do me no further insults. It does not suit your radiance."
My apologies. I may put on this facade of high class, but I'm nothing more than a common woman.
He says, "Tell me more about this common woman who opposes me in our upcoming election. I need to know more about who the madam is."
Now that I'm like this close to him,
Mm-hmm.
and by the way, like I have not touched any of the food or drink yet.
Okay.
Um, can I do like an intellect check to see if I like might know like if he actually is of human race or if he might be something else?
I don't know that. I don't know that intellect is the correct thing. How about insight?
I was going at it like identifying monsters.
No, I understand. And given the circumstances, like, he's made up. It's not just like his skin or whatever. So you're perceiving beyond the makeup. You're having a bit of insight as to the every movement he makes to kind of pick up on whether or not he is human. Because humans tend to move a way that elves don't, that dwarves don't, that kind of thing. And your distinct impression, first and foremost, is that he moves in a way that is unlike any creature on two legs that you have ever before seen. There is a stiffness to his movements that they're all very practiced.
Okay.
He never makes a gesture. He never makes a move that doesn't look rehearsed in some way or another. There's almost no natural fluidity to him, and all of the like alien grace that he displays upon closer inspection is absolutely something that not on a like a choreographed dance.
Okay. Creepy, but okay.
He has taken to very carefully eating, and drinking. You'll notice like each bite is just large enough that he can wrap his lips around it without disturbing, his lipstick. Or each drink, he carefully dabs at the corners of his mouth and keeps it from smearing his makeup, and keeps his sleeves and elbows off the table, that kind of thing.
So I'm going to go ahead and turn the conversation around on him and say, I feel like it's more understandable that one of the common folk would try and run for the seat of elder, but I don't understand why someone of your opulence would have such a stake in a village like Treetop.
Uh, Give me a persuasion check to try and get him to stop talking about you. Yeah, rather than just bulldozing through your comment, he seems to actually pause and think about it for a moment. He says, "Well, Treetop seems to have a lot of potential, and let's just say that I think it would make a wonderful governing seat for the future that I have planned. But I've spoken too much. Tell me, what's a nice maiden like you doing in a dungeon like this?"
Well, dungeons happen to be my forte.
He said, "Oh, do go on. I must confess, I don't fully understand."
I didn't necessarily expect to find myself so far from home, but circumstances arose, and this seems like a genuine opportunity that I honestly wouldn't have had in my previous life.
He says, "Most excellent. And what is it that makes it so that you wish to, join the seat of ruling elders? Surely a woman of your radiance would find herself most at home, perhaps free and enjoying your forte, as it were."
I've come brushing close to death many times upon my adventures, and while it's not something I would typically go for, this whole charade of politics, I feel like that kind of position would lead me to some more information. Hopefully, help me find what I'm looking for.
He as you kind of trail off there saying find what you're looking for, he just like waves the conversation away like an unpleasant smell. He says, "No. This is enough shop talk. We'll get down to business uh well, soon enough, as I understand it, in the upcoming debate. I wish to know more about you. Your heavenly appearance would brighten even the day of a fire giant in an ice storm, and yet here I am struck and find myself just burning to know more about Lavinia Beldam." And as he spits that last bit out, he kind of mulls on it for a moment. He's like, "Actually, Beldam. I've heard of that name before."
Have you now?
And says, "I feel like as a young lad, there was a Beldam, another woman, not quite nearly so magnificent as yourself. Surely you couldn't be related."
Fuck, I don't. What was the name of the other continent that we were on?
Does anybody remember? No? Okay. New Erelon.
New Erelon.
Could you have possibly heard of this name on New Erelon?
He just kind of yawns and shifts in his seat a moment. He says, "No, I don't think I've ever been to such a place."
That's the only place that I knew of another Beldam, and that Beldam happened to be my teacher.
He says, "A teacher and a relative. How intriguing." Well, this was a froggy old woman who, she claimed to be able to see the future. And my father brought her in to tell more of what my future greatness would be. Unfortunately, she refused, and so father did away with her. But still, she was capable of some rather entertaining magic tricks, as it were.
Well, that's some information. Can we cut to Udinar
Sure.
while I mull?
Okay.
Yeah. Noodles, the two gentlemen in the hallway, like rather stoically, as you occasionally hear laughter, always male laughter coming from the room behind you, or just like some general noises of mirth and festivity, along with the occasional cheers from the crowd in the main room of the tavern. They just kind of like roll their eyes and look bored, and one of them looks over to you and says, "Dice."
I say sure, but then I say, would you like to hear a joke?
They look at each other, and one of them nods, says, "Tell him I'll be back in a moment." And he kind of nudges past you and disappears into the door adjacent to the main room.
Okay. I look at the other guy and I say, what did the innkeeper say to the barmaiden?
Actually, hold on. He would have gone down here in this way. Okay. What did the innkeeper say to the barmaiden?
Yeah.
He says, "I don't know. What?"
I then, at this point, say a bunch of words he doesn't understand and cast detect poison and disease.
Okay.
And then I just look at him dead in the eyes as, like, expecting a laugh.
He just kind of looks at you and blinks. He's like, "Sorry, friend. I think you forgot your comment there for a moment."
And I'd say to him, oh, I apologize. I'm not of sturdy mind. Lots of battle, you see. Do I detect any poison within 30 feet of me?
No.
Okay. I just say, so what about that dice then?
So actually, around the time that you say that, the other gentleman reappears carrying a barrel over his shoulder. Comes forward, sets it down between the three of you, and then pulls out a small leather pouch and dumps out some dice. Pulls out another pouch and puts 10 silver pieces on the barrel top and says, "Ante up, big man."
I clear my throat and say, all right then. What are we playing for?
He looks at you and looks back at the silver pieces as though that was the dumbest question he's ever heard in his life.
All right, I toss one in.
All right, so 10 silver pieces. The other pulls out a single gold coin and places it on. He says, "I haven't changed my silver over in a while. Hope you don't mind him playing with yellow." All right. He says, "Big man, you're the guest. You roll first. So roll 3d6s, please. Unless you happen to have a skill for gambling, which I don't think you do."
I do not.
Okay. All right. So his oh, you can't see that, can you? What is it?
No,
Slash
I don't see any.
hide. Oh, I rolled 15, so he's gonna take the pot, but I know I have like a full list of just like handy dandy fantasy ground stuff. Oh, slash die reveal. So the second one rolls a 15. The third goes ahead and rolls his dice and gets a 9. And so they all look at each other and they say, "Do you know this game?"
I shake my head. No.
I say, "It's too bad." And the one that rolled a 15 sweeps up the coins and puts them in his pouch. He says, "Another round then. 10 silver."
Sure. Yeah, I'll do another.
Okay, so you're going to do that for a little while. Now, we can either go back to Pedalin or Lavinia.
I can go if she needs another minute.
I think I'd have something. I don't think it's gonna go well though.
Well, I'll let you choose between the two of you.
Well, I can go and then we'll go back.
Okay. Pedalin.
All right. Do I get the feeling that if I stay in this conversation, I'm not going to really get anywhere?
You get the feeling that you should roll insight.
Okay.
You get the feeling, after having spent a little bit more time in this home, that you are perhaps among what some would consider to be the treetop voting elite.
Ooh.
Based off some of the conversation that's been going on, it sounds as though you have stumbled into the room of the minds of the people that will decide almost unanimously what the village vote is. You are with a master craftsman. There is a business owner. There is a home shaper. Just very important people within the village that have followings around them. And so this appears to be the place to be to swing a vote.
I see.
They are all very well politically educated. They all seem to have the interests of Treetop, at least on the surface, as their chief goal. And it seems largely from the conversation that they are all very, very interested in having a candidate that will drive Treetop from the status of village to perhaps becoming its own full-fledged city. Especially with Spira being absent and the region being lacking a place with a large protective ward. There is one person in attendance that you've noticed has been largely silent through the entire evening, but has not through lack of participation. They're simply typically referenced. They are referenced as the traveler from New Atanos, arrived from New Erelon, and knows, they've mentioned several times, knows his way around a city.
And this person is sitting at the table.
Well, you have to remember, there's not really a table in effect.
Well,
You're sitting in a large or like a smallish hollowed out tree. Like imagine a tube turned upright,
sure.
but like a cat tree.
But this person is in attendance.
Yes.
Okay.
They literally haven't spoken. They've kind of drifted around the room, or around the rooms, vertically, with a drink in hand. And anytime they kind of show up, they're referenced with an aura and air of respect, but they otherwise are never directly spoken to.
What does the traveler look like? Are they just like hooded to where you can't really tell, or?
No, it's a very plain looking human gentleman. Entirely forgettable. Brown hair, couple of freckles, brown eyes, plain face, nothing special. Average build.
Do people seem to be afraid of him?
No, just respectful.
Respectful. Mm-hmm. I'd like to make another attempt at kind of swaying them in favor of the madam. Maybe I tell them an exaggerated story of, something that she's done, or the the depth of her education or something like that that would be in keeping with what they're kind of looking for in the candidate of, driving Treetop to be better than what it is, or
So is that
improving
going to
it.
be persuasion, deception, or intimidation?
I think probably. Let's keep going. Let's keep going persuasion.
Okay. You don't win anybody over, but you haven't upset anybody. They all seem to kind of look at you with this gaze of understanding that you are a biased party, and there's a little bit of like a patronizing stare of just like, yeah, we get it. You like Madame Beldam.
Okay, I'd like to approach the traveler, and I'd like to very respectfully bow or curtsy and introduce myself.
Again, keep in mind your surroundings. There's not really a walk up, and you can't really bow or curtsy considering all of the movement in here is like you climbing up a bunk bed ladder to a shelf that you can sit on, and maybe you could stand, but even you would be crouching or hunched in standing.
Well, you said he was moving around, wasn't he?
Yes, in much the same way. There's no dignity or grace in here.
Well, I'd still like to introduce myself if possible.
So you speak to the stranger.
Yes.
The entire room goes silent as soon as you speak directly to this person, and they all kind of turn to look at you. What exactly did you say?
Well, I want to introduce myself and say that, I'm also from New Erelon, and it's good to meet someone who is also from my home.
He kind of looks down his nose at you, over to the side, whichever side you happen to be on. He acknowledges what you say, and then looks around the rest of the room and says, "It's time." And then all of the conversation picks right back up where it left off, and the buzz continues. So, Madame Beldam.
That's not ominous. Okay. After his comment, I will telepathically command my invisible tiny servant to go and hide itself among his clothes.
Latrix clothes?
Yes.
All right, so it needs to make a stealth check.
Yeah, and then the instructions that I'm giving it is to crawl in and like hide in one of his pockets or somewhere where it can stay hidden and listen to any conversations he has after we leave here. After like 6 or so hours pass, to sneak back out and head back to us, and if it is caught, to destroy itself.
Okay.
So stealth check would be plus dex.
Yes.
16.
Okay. Are you so you can telepathically command it, but you don't know where it is, right? Like you aren't aware of its location, or are you?
Let's see.
Regardless, Latrick doesn't make any motions or movements that would indicate that he seems to be, or that he is aware that anything is amiss. He continues to eat and drink daintily, fawning and showering you with compliments as he does so.
And it's only after I heard Udnar clear his throat in the hallway that I will sip on the wine and like
Mhm.
lightly peck at the food.
Mm-hmm. Noodles, you didn't actually cast that spell because the effect is not on you.
Gotcha. I can do that now if you want.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Poison. It's one of these that doesn't have an effect that goes on me because it's not coded right.
Oh. Okay. That's fine. I need my library to open. That would be a
That's a lot of dice.
All right, Lavinia, make a perception check. All right. So, he continues going on and on through dinner, and he just, clearly probing you for information about you. Make an insight check. Honestly, your impression is that he is legitimately interested in who or what you are. He just goes on and on, just fascinated with you, and speaks very highly of you, and brags about himself. It definitely has the feeling of like a first date. And then finally, as dinner starts to wind up and come to a close, he kind of leans in and says, Lavinia, are you wearing a chastity belt? Because I happen to know a talented blacksmith.
With that, I'm gonna get up from the table
Mhm.
and thank him for the delightful evening,
Mhm.
and I'll make my way to the door.
All right. As you step away from the table toward the door, there is a very split second, a moment, where you hear what sounds like glass cracking. And Udinar, you'll make the same perception check, please. Oh, you know what? The glass wouldn't crack, so never mind. Don't perceive.
Okay.
The glass begins to, or you catch the faintest glimpse of movement at the window at the back of the room, so no glass crack. And then I don't think you make a save for this. Library spells are affected. Lowest current hit points. Oh, yep. Okay. Are you immune to sleep?
I
Doesn't
don't
look
know what would
doesn't look like it.
provide that even.
Races tend to. Anyway, so now Udinar can make a perception check as there is a shout from within the room, a cry, as it were, and a thud. So Udanar, you hear the shout and thud even through the thick wooden door. What do you do as the two guards appear to be drawing their weapons and rapidly moving?
Okay, so we were playing dice or whatever, then I hear this. Am I like sitting down or something, or are we standing?
No, everybody's standing.
Everybody's standing? Okay. Then I just like turn and just like push all my weight through the door to open it to see what's going on.
Okay. So, you kind of just like push the barrel out of the way, yeah?
Yeah. Or flip it or
so
whatever.
Yeah. So you table flip the barrel, finding yourself. Actually, go ahead and roll a percentile die.
Is there an easy way to do this in
Right click on the D10 and click percent.
Oh, I see. Neat.
So your luck at dice seemed to turn out largely for the better, and so you will break even despite not understanding the rules.
Dope. All right.
Just barely, actually. Okay, so you toss that, you kick the door open or whatever, and you see Lavinia's unconscious body lying on the floor. Lautric has drawn his, I believe it is a rapier. Let me make sure. Yes. He has drawn his rapier. And kicked over his chair, and there appears to be a hooded, cloaked figure wielding a dagger, which has sent your poison detection beacon, whatever effect, however you detect that there is poison. You are certainly aware that there is now poison within 30 feet of you.
Okay.
And I have already rolled everybody's initiatives. Go. Crap, which numbers are these? I don't even know. It doesn't matter because the two at the front aren't going to act, so I'll remove them from initiative. Okay, so the assassin has the first attack. First turn, advantage on attack rolls against any creature that hasn't taken a turn, and any hit is a critical hit. Okay, so the door having been kicked open, she's going to leap onto the table and lunge at Lautric.
What an interesting twist.
Right. Attack. The hit.
Jesus.
Turn this on and roll damage. Oh my god.
Holy fuck.
Fucking sneak attack.
Dang.
But
Man.
Lautric manages to stay on his feet.
If only we had a rogue in our party to do that.
And then she's going to make another attack. That one misses despite her advantageous position. She is then going to bonus action. I believe that's a bonus action. 5e bonus actions. Bonus action, special ability, spell, or feature states you can do something as a bonus action. Nope, that doesn't work. Okay, so she doesn't have any more actions, doesn't have a bonus action. Oh, yes, she does. She's going to disengage. Bang. Actually, she's going to step in between these two. And and Udanar, you have the initiative.
Okay. So I just see Lavinia on the ground.
Yeah, she's just laying there crumpled on the ground.
Okay. I'm gonna run to her
Mm-hmm.
and pick her up, and I want to shake her or something. I want to see if I can wake her.
Okay.
Actually, can I just take a look at her body, see if her neck's slashed or something? I don't know if she's dead or not.
Make a medicine check or whatever the healing skill is. I think it's medicine.
Yep. Okay.
She does not appear to be dead. A quick glance, you can see that she doesn't bear any wounds.
But she's just comatose.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck. I'm gonna hope. Does that count as an action, or what does that count as?
No, that's a glance. I'm giving you that one for free.
Okay. I'm gonna try casting this Dispel Magic on her.
Okay.
Because I want to see if it's a spell that she's under.
All right, so you cast Dispel Magic, and Lavinia's eyes flutter open. Lavinia, you are conscious.
Oh boy, right when I got back from going to the bathroom.
That being the case, I will, I guess, put her down or something, put her back on her feet.
I mean, you picking her up or doing something like that would have been an action. So
okay.
I didn't realize that you had still picked her up. I thought
okay, no,
we had
that's
gone
fine.
back. Yeah.
Would you allow
My
me
understanding
to,
of the-
as a bonus action, lift her to her feet?
No.
Okay.
That's bonus actions have to be very specifically granted. Otherwise, I would have done something with the assassin as well.
Sure. Okay. In that case, I will use my bonus action to cast Shield of Faith on her.
Okay.
And yeah, that should just take on her turn now. So that'll be it for my turn, I suppose.
Okay. Pedalin's not here. Which bodyguard is this? Do I even... Oh, you know what? I never pulled them out. That's why. So... Elite token... And actually, it should be bodyguards 1 and 2. 3 and 4 don't need to be here. So, unfortunately, not their turn. Lotric. 1. And delete. 2. All right. Lotric. What's he gonna do?
He's gonna spit acid like the lizard man he is.
Nope. He's going to extend his hand and trace a sigil of warding into the air. And then he's going to make an attack with his rapier. That is a hit. I'm sorry, what is this? Why is this a thing? That's not explained, but that's fine. Yeah, so he swings his sword, which glows with a purple energy, and slashes across the assassin's chest. It does cause a nice chunk of damage as the blood welts outward, bubbling and almost seeming to boil at the surface where she's slashed. And he's going to shout out, well, I guess he says, "Lay not a hand on the beauty. Face me, you coward." And then Madame Beldam.
Let's try a hold person.
She appears to be held.
And then I'll say, I've got her held. Do we want to question her or kill her? And I'll end my turn. Actually,
Alright.
I'll back the fuck up from
Okay,
the road.
So you stand up,
Right, half my movement.
cast your spell, and then move. Okay. All right. First bodyguard is going to run in. He's going to... Unar, do you let him pass?
Oh yeah.
Okay. They run in. He runs into the room, sees that Lotric is wounded and that Lavinia is unharmed, and with weapons drawn, longsword and short sword, longsword in one hand, short sword in the other, looks at the assassin, looks at Unar, looks at Lavinia, and then looks at Lotric and says, "Who should I kill?" And Lotric is like, "You idiot, the one that I've just stabbed." So then he's going to attack the assassin.
Poor bodyguard one. He's so helpless.
He does hit her. Deals some small amount of damage. Does so again. And then with his short sword, all three attacks do find purchase. The second bodyguard runs up to the room, realizes that there's no room for him, and seems completely panicked and at a loss, being unable to do what he was hired to do. He calls out, "What do I do?"
Oh dear.
All right. I believe it's the top of the initiative, which means this. Check this. Yeah. Okay. And okay. A second figure appears in the windowsill.
Oh no, that's where I moved.
Speaks some strange words.
Uh-oh.
Counterspell.
Here we go.
You're gonna need to roll here.
I'm going to make that a 13 plus 4.
So what is that? I need to know what the counterspell check is.
17. It is 10 plus the spell level.
Okay, so it would be... This would stop a 7th level spell. So she's going to have to counterspell your counterspell.
What a fucking pain in the ass that mechanic is.
Yeah, well... How do we... I guess I just had to draw it. Pointers, circle... 20-foot radius sphere. What? 20.
Well then.
So the target It hisses in. Do any of you speak Elvish?
Yes.
Okay, so she hisses, "You were supposed to keep it quiet, you bitch." And then that happens. Right.
It's a lot of
So
things that happened.
a yellow-green fog of poisonous gas begins to spread. Everybody makes their save. Yeah. Okay.
Good
That
lord.
basically is what happens there. Oh, she needs to make her save.
Concentration dropped.
Oh, did it? Okay. So then never mind. But the assassin moves second, so. Or the assassin mage moves second. So, Udanar, you have the initiative.
I'm gonna say to Beldum, we have to go. And am I able to grab her and assist her in like moving with me, or how does that work? If I was to try to like pull her to run out. Because
1 second.
basically my thought is keep her safe. I don't have a weapon and shield. Like, I'm not actually ready for battle. I was here to just overlook in case shit happened.
1 second. If you can lift her, I would consider that to be an action. And if she is willing, then you don't have to make a grapple check.
Okay. I'll say that and suggest that she let me take her. So does Beldum allow it, I guess?
Oh, hold on. You need to make you just started your turn here, so you're going to need to make your Constitution saving throw again.
Oh, dope. Okay, hold up. I keep closing my thing here.
Did I not target Lavinia?
You did.
You did.
I took damage.
Okay. Okay.
And she dropped her
know, it just-
concentration on the whole person.
Yeah. You just weren't targeted, so. You failed your save. Took more damage from the poisonous gas,
Dope.
but you are still standing.
Somehow.
So yeah, if you grab her and she doesn't resist, you can totally book it.
Yeah, this is a fucked situation. I'm not gonna.
You don't
argue.
resist? Okay.
No.
In that case, I'm going to obviously do that and use everything I can to get out of here.
Okay.
Um,
So you bodily lift Lavinia.
Which isn't hard.
Yeah.
yeah. Do I need to do anything to push past bodyguard too?
No, he's not resisting you.
Okay. So 1. Oh my god.
I'll move Lavinia. Just how far can you get?
For some reason, I can't move my token anymore. I think the
'cause
program might have
bodyguard.
froze. Oh, I see. Okay. So that's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Mhm.
That's my normal, and then... Or wait, my
You've
action was
already
picking
used-
her up.
Yeah.
Okay. Then, I still have a bonus action, correct?
Yeah, as long as you have something that actually uses it.
I think there's only one thing I might be able to do. I just want to know, did I still take it? I did still take it. Oh, thank God. I'm going to heal myself with my bonus action and hope it's enough to not die.
Okay.
So,
You
target.
do need to have a hand free to heal yourself.
No, it's verbal only.
Oh, okay. There you go.
And I don't want to target her. So that's actually not a bad roll, damn.
That's a max roll.
Yeah.
Can't get any better than that.
Yeah, not bad. That is the end of my turn.
Okay. Adeline's not here. Audric. Audric, do not target Udanar. Save. Damage. Okay. You hear Lautric coughing and sputtering as he calls out. He says, "My lady love, be well." And then
I gotta admit, he's growing on me.
targeting her.
I see what the people see now.
You know what? He would totally do this.
Oh no.
Because that's a bonus action, so. One. Take 2 attacks of opportunity. Oh, I guess she's still laying down. She hasn't even gotten up yet, so I don't think she can attack. I'm establishing the precedent now. You cannot attack from prone.
Makes sense.
He can poke at his ankles.
No, I'm establishing the precedent now.
Okay.
He misses. Okay. 1, 2, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. Nope, can't go there. Okay. Lautric, Udanar, and Lavinia, you're going to see this. Teleports himself into freefall. Just like a misty step.
Okay.
As he is free falling, it is misty step, right? That's bonus action. Yes. So yeah, up to 30 feet. So as he is in free fall, now he's going to be further than where he actually is. A burning orb of fire streaks from his pointing finger.
Oh,
And,
poor bodyguard 1 and 2. He didn't get paid enough.
No shit.
See. Going to be the same. Can he do it in such a way? Yeah, that he doesn't put Lavinia at risk. Yeah, totally he can. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. And actually the bodyguard shouldn't take any. Gain 29 back on both of these. Oh. What is... Oh, 24. Okay. They're not so bad then. Okay. So the fireball explodes in the room, lighting everything on fire and burning away the gas. So that can go away. Pointers, remove this. There we go. Burns away the gas. The inn is on fire. You hear screams from the room to your south. Both of the bodyguard that you can see, you can see that he is entirely unburnt. And man, the assassins were basically untouched. Evasion is strong. Okay. So yeah, then he just falls. Lavinia, you have the initiative.
Well,
Threw a fireball that did nothing, and then fell.
I mean, basically did, yeah.
And Egg, you get to arrive here very soon. It's gonna be great. Thank you for observing through this time.
Uh-huh.
Um, okay. I'm gonna say back to the guard in the hallway. I'm like assuming I'm hoisted over Udinar's shoulder, but like
Mhm.
facing backwards behind him.
Sure.
And I'll say, "You guard, go kill them," and I will cast polymorph on him.
What are you going to polymorph him into?
Oh no.
A triceratops.
I fucking knew it.
What size is a triceratops?
Let's see.
Oh god.
It is
Oh,
a
God.
huge beast.
Oh, no.
So that gives him a +4 to his save. So cast your spell on Bodyguard 2. He saves.
God damn it, you useless bodyguard.
He didn't even need the +4. Yeah, polymorphing a creature into an area that it's unfavorable for it gives them a bonus. It is a +4, isn't it? I'm not just talking about old editions. I'll look it up. It doesn't matter.
That might have saved the tavern or the tree the tavern's on, frankly. So.
Oh, man. He just falls through the floor of the tavern.
It would have been more interesting that way.
Everyone falls out the window. You
Except
fall
for
out the
Egg.
window. And you fall out the window. I mean, that's why Egg didn't go up there. You want to fall out the window.
I mean, yeah, I guess that's my turn. I'm still being carried, so.
Oh, it doesn't say anything here about unfavorable conditions. Does that mean you can just turn things into a fish in dry land? Because
Yeah,
that was
we've done
always
that.
like the I know you've done it, but like the limitation was always that it was harder. Interesting. All right, so Lavinia finishes. Bodyguard number 1. He's going to attack the assassin. Hit. That's a critical hit. Okay. He's hacking and slashing at the assassin. The second bodyguard's going to run forward, swinging at the assassin mage. He's going to swing his longsword with 2 hands. Both hit.
Damn.
And then assassin. What are you going to do? You know, I should probably just bail. 1, 3. Corner. The assassin mage. Okay. The air begins to crackle, and the very strong smell of sulfur fills everybody's nose.
Uh-oh.
Bodyguard to Udinar. Also, the poor barkeep, it looks like.
If I counterspell, is he gonna counterspell my counterspell?
Oh, you should have told me that before I rolled damages. But you can certainly try.
I mean, yeah, I'll use the spell slot.
All right, so cast this.
While you were
Yes.
rolling stuff, I had to see if I was in range.
Yeah. No, I do still have a level 3 slot. So yes, I will counterspell your counterspell.
It's worth a shot.
I was hoping his poison cloud was a 3rd level.
It is a 5th level.
What a fuck.
So the lightning bolt blasts through the tavern. There are some more screams as people continue to flee. And as you look back towards the wreckage of the tavern, having been dropped like a sack of potatoes by Udinar's now unconscious dying body, you see that both of the assassins are missing. No longer visible. Udinar failed a death save. Lavinia, you have the initiative.
Immediately healing hands Udinar.
Okay. This bodyguard. No, he took enough damage to die. He's a dead boy.
Damn.
Vaporized by the lightning bolt. Okay, combat appears to be over. As you're cleaning, yeah, go ahead and figure out what you're doing in here, and then we'll move on to the next section.
I look at Beldam and just say, I hate it when you're right.
Now's not the time for this. We need to find Petalin now.
I nod and just, like, kind of start limping along.
I think we're gonna make our way back to our route. Well, Petalin probably has all our stuff. Fuck, we don't have a way to get in contact with Petalin.
So as you're standing there discussing in the hallway, the other two bodyguards quickly swarm in, see you, look around and say, "Where is Lautrick?" What
I point
happened?
toward the window that's, like, blown out.
Yeah.
He jumped out the window like a madman.
They look you over for a moment, decide that you aren't lying. The other bodyguard crawls back in front of the door and says, "The prince is down below. He fell." The assassins escaped, and they just sprint. And again, largely the tavern is cleared at this point. There are a few bloody stains from where a few bodies got popped by the lightning bolt. But other than that, everybody has screamed and fled. So as they're fleeing the tavern, what are you guys doing?
I'm saying, like, we should go back to, like, our room or whatever. We should find a safe place. We need to regroup.
Yeah, we probably shouldn't be out in the open.
All right, so you flee.
Oh, yeah.
I guess, yeah, we'll go into
I'm having this
streets where all the
conversation.
fucking commotion is.
I'm having
Okay,
this conversation as I'm hurriedly, like, limping through the hallway.
Yeah. All right, so you hurry away as quickly as possible, trying to blend in with the throng of panic masses as best you can, which is likely for the best, as you can see several armed guards rushing the tavern shortly after your escape. What is your immediate goal now that you have escaped the tavern, which you can see is on fire, from outside?
Find Petalin, I think.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're gonna just search for Petalin.
I guess so. She didn't really tell
Do
us where
we-
she was going.
Yeah. And shit, I don't have any spells that would be able to.
Oh, I do. Hold up.
Alright, okay.
I just want to make sure I have the spell slot available. Or did I get rid of it for something else? Oh, shit. Yeah, you know what? Never mind. I cannot find person.